Hello and welcome guys to a new episode on SportPredictorFanatic. Today we're going to predict the Champions League matches and one other La Liga match that's being played on the 14th of September. Of course, another fun Champions League day, so let's get into it. We're going to start off with a matchup between Feyenoord and Bayer Leverkusen. Feyenoord has qualified for the Champions League by becoming second in the Eredivisie, while Leverkusen of course qualified by becoming the champions of the Bundesliga. Feyenoord have not had the perfect start of the season. They did win the Johan Cruyff Cup against PSV on penalties, but then in the Eredivisie, after they are only on 6 points after 4 games, which is not good for a team like Feyenoord. Leverkusen have had an alright start of the season with first a win in the Super Cup, then which was by the way against Stuttgart, which they won also on penalties. But then in the Bundesliga they are now on 6 points after 3 matches, and the match they lost against Leipzig, and it was a pretty close match still, so it's not that bad. Feyenoord and Leverkusen have played each other twice, with actually both times being the 1987 UEFA Cup matches, where it actually ended in a draw, and the other, one ended in a draw and the other one was won by Leverkusen, and which actually meant Leverkusen went on to the quarterfinals of that UEFA Cup year, and actually eventually went on to win the UEFA Cup. So that is just a little statistic to go throw out there. But as said, Feyenoord have not looked good, and this was also shown last weekend, as they were pretty comfortably up against Groningen with 2-0. But then in 10 minutes it all changed. They conceded 2 goals, and with that it ended in a draw. I think because of this and just the fact that Leverkusen has a really, really good team, I think Leverkusen will get the win here. Then we have Red Star Belgrado, or a really weird name that I can't pronounce, against Benfica. Red Star Belgrado has qualified for the Champions League by winning their qualification match against Bodo Glimt, which were of course a team that were in last year or the year before, with 3-2 on aggregate. Benfica have qualified by becoming second in a Portuguese league. And besides qualifying for the Champions League, Red Star Belgrado have also played 7 matches in the league. With 19 points out of those 7 matches, they've done really well, and they are now first in the league. Benfica, though, has not had the perfect start of the season, with 10 points from 5 league games, and with that being shared for at the moment, it's not where they want to be at. But still, of course, no panic there. Although they did kind of panic because they fired their coach. I'm saying no panic there, but they literally fired their coach. But they now have a new one. So we will see how that goes. Because that's, of course, always exciting, a new coach, but also very dangerous. Especially this early in the season. But these two have, Red Star Belgrado and Benfica, have actually met each other earlier, twice actually, and they were both in the 1984 Europa Cup season, where both won actually 1 match, but Benfica went through with 4-3 on aggregate. And I think Benfica do have the stronger team here, and although they do have a new coach, so it will be we will have to wait and see how it goes, but I still think Benfica will win this matchup. Then we have the matchup of Monaco against Barcelona. Monaco has qualified for the Champions League with becoming second in the Liga last season, while Barcelona has done the exact same, but then in the La Liga. Monaco has had an alright start of the season with 10 points out of 4 Ligue 1 Liga matches. It's not bad, of course, 1 draw, the other one won. While Barcelona has had a perfect start with 5 wins out of 5 games, and they've looked pretty darn great. So yeah, that is where they're up against, of course. Barcelona and Monaco have played each other 3 times, but I actually think it would have been more, but it's not. With the last actually being a month ago, which was actually in pre-season, where Monaco won 3-0. The other two times were in the 1993-1994 season of the Champions League, where actually Barcelona won both of the matches in the group stage and eventually became the runner-up of that season as well. I think this matchup, Barcelona do have the better team, do have a great form. I think Monaco is, although they're doing all right in Liga, I still think they're not looking great at the moment. And because of that, I think Barcelona will get the W. Then we have Atalanta against Arsenal. Atalanta, of course, qualified for the Champions League by becoming fourth in the Serie A last season, but also because they won the Europa League last season, of course, not to forget. They were the only team to beat Bayer Leverkusen, of course, last season, which was, of course, a crazy final with that. But Arsenal, of course, qualified by becoming second in the Premier League. Atalanta have had like an alright start to the season, with first a loss to Real Madrid in the UEFA Super Cup, but then in the Serie A 6 points out of 4 matches, which of course isn't great, but it isn't the worst. And Arsenal have started the season really good with 10 points out of 4 matches with only a draw, I think, against Brighton, which is of course not a real shame the last few seasons. Surprisingly, Atalanta and Arsenal have never actually played each other. I thought they would have had played each other, but they haven't. And I think Arsenal do have the better squad here. They do have the better form here, and because of that, will get the W. Then we have the matchup of Atletico Madrid against Leipzig. Atletico Madrid, of course, qualified for the Champions League by becoming fourth in the La Liga last season, while Leipzig did the exact same in the Bundesliga. And because of that, of course, qualified. Atletico Madrid have had a good start of the season with 11 points out of the first 5 matches in the La Liga, which is where they are still unbeaten with that. Leipzig have had an alright start as well, with 7 points out of 3 matches, so with that still unbeaten as well. But where Atletico won the last 2 matches, the last match for Leipzig was actually a scoreless draw against Union Berlin, where actually they didn't look too great. But Atletico Madrid and Leipzig have only played each other once, which actually was in the 2020 Champions League quarterfinal. Well, Leipzig actually won a 2-1. And I think this will once again be a close contested match, but I think Atletico Madrid will get the winner due to 2 reasons. Leipzig have not seemed the best this season, although they did great, of course, against Leverkusen earlier this season, where they actually won. So they're a bit up and down. But I think Atletico Madrid have looked pretty good, especially against great teams. And they always look so good at home. I think, I'm not really sure about the statistic, but I think in the last 2 UCL Champions League, like in the last 2 Champions League, they have not lost at home, which is of course a freaking great stat to have. And I think they will extend the streak and they will get actually a win here. I'm actually expecting them to score. And then we have a Brest against Sturm Graz, of course, the smallest match I think this whole first round. Maybe Celtic, Slovan, Bratislava, but especially of this day is like the smallest match. Brest have qualified for the Champions League by becoming third in the Liga last season, while Sturm Graz qualified for the Champions League by becoming the champions of Austria last season. Brest have not had a good start of the year with only 3 points out of 4 matches. And while Sturm Graz actually started the season off pretty great with 12 points out of 5 matches in the Austrian league. Brest and Sturm Graz have actually never played each other, which doesn't really surprise me. I'm going to be honest here, I don't really know how good the teams will compare each other. I haven't seen enough of Sturm Graz. But I think because of the form of Sturm Graz and it's Champions League night, So I think there will be a surprise. It will be Sturm Graz, and Sturm Graz will get the W here. Then we have one other match that is not in the Champions League, but still in the Big Six leagues. It is a Leganés against Athletic Bilbao. This match is actually a 7th round matchup, but this is being played early because it should have been played next midweek, so next Thursday or Wednesday or something. But Bilbao, of course, are also in the Europa League, which is of course being played next week. But yeah, Leganés has started the season quite well with 5 points after 3 games, but now lost their last 2 matches. So with that are still on 5 points after 5 matches. Bilbao are after 5 matches on 7 points and won the last match, which was against Las Palmas. The last time actually these two played each other was in 2020, where actually Leganés won. They've played each other 4 times in the Leganés Stadium, where both teams won once, and they drew actually twice. So that's pretty interesting. And I think what I think will happen is that Bilbao will actually get the winner. I think they for sure have the better squad. But I also think like with last matches of Leganés losing, I think Athletic Bilbao will get the W here. And then what I'm gonna do with my betting, because that's where you of course came from for, is the following. I'm actually gonna be putting money on all Champions League matches that are gonna be played this day, because I'm pretty confident I'm right. Although maybe I shouldn't be, because I have been wrong a lot of times, of course, in my career. But yeah. No, so what I'm gonna go for is Leverkusen to win. The odds for that is 1.69. Then Benfica to win. The odds for that is 1.99. Then Barcelona to win. The odds for that is 1.75. Arsenal to win. The odds for that is 1.86. Atletico Madrid to win. The odds for that is 1.78. And then Sturm Graz to win their matchup. The odds for that is 4.00. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting trebles on these matches. So there are six matches. You can make 20 trebles out of those 6 matches. So I'm going to be putting 25 cents on each of the matches, which of course in total is €5. Why? Because, well, if 3 are right, I'm still getting like a little bit of money back. And if they're more right, I'm getting more and more and more. It's just a safety net when things go wrong. Well, one match goes wrong or 2 matches go wrong, I'm still like fine. I'm maybe not making profit, but I'm still like not losing as much. And I just want to use €5 for this Champions League night, so that's why I chose for this. So let's get this profit, hopefully. But for now, I want to thank you all for watching. Please have a good day, and I will see you